When my father asked me for money, I handed him a DNA test instead. The linen napkin felt like sandpaper in my lap. For the first time in 7 years, I was having dinner with my family. They had chosen the most expensive restaurant in the city, a place with hushed lighting and waiters who moved like ghosts. The fawning was suffocating. My father, who once called me a disgrace, now praised my company's latest acquisition. My mother, who packed my bags herself, gushed about how my son Liam must be a genius. And my sister Isabel, the family's perfect angel, smiled her flawless, empty smile. I knew why I was here. Success has a scent, and my family, facing financial ruin, had smelled it on me. I listened to their hollow compliments, my hand resting on my purse. Inside it lay an envelope. It was my price for this reunion, and I knew they could never afford to pay it. 7 years ago, I wasn't the CEO of a thriving design firm. I was a terrified 21-year-old art student sitting in the same family's living room, the positive pregnancy test feeling like a lead weight in my pocket. When I told them, the silence was violent. My father's face turned to stone. "Who is it?" he demanded. I couldn't say his name. I just shook my head, tears blurring his furious expression. "It doesn't matter who," he declared. "What matters is that you have brought shame on this family. You will terminate it." My perfect sister Isabel, freshly engaged to her perfect fiancé Mark, looked at me with disgust. "Honestly, Clara, I can't believe you were so reckless." "What will I tell Mark's parents? That my sister is an unmarried pregnant artist?" My mother simply wrung her hands and echoed my father. "Think of the family's reputation, darling." I refused. I couldn't. This child was the only thing that felt real in a world of appearances. The ultimatum was swift. "If you keep that thing," my father spat, "you are no longer our daughter. You are on your own." My mother packed a single suitcase while Isabel watched, arms crossed, from the doorway. As I left, she was the last person I saw. "Don't come crawling back when you fail," she said, her voice laced with satisfaction. The years that followed were a blur of poverty and exhaustion. I worked 2 jobs, attended night classes, and rocked my son to sleep in a tiny, drafty apartment. I lived on instant noodles so Liam could have fresh fruit. Every milestone, his first step, his first word, was mine alone, a bittersweet joy tinged with the profound loneliness of their abandonment. I saw Isabel's lavish wedding photos online, her perfect life a constant, painful contrast to my struggle. Not once did they call. Not once did they ask if their grandson was alive and well. They hadn't just closed the door. They had pretended I never existed. Back in the restaurant, my father finally made his move. After a long-winded speech about the importance of family, he cleared his throat. "Clara, we have run into some temporary trouble with our investment. As family, we were hoping you might be in a position to help us out. Alone, perhaps, to keep the family home." The moment had arrived. The air crackled with anticipation. I took a slow sip of water, placing the glass down with a soft click. "Alone," I repeated, my voice dangerously calm. "You want to talk about family?" I reached into my purse and pulled out the crisp, white envelope, sliding it into the center of the table. "You disowned me because you were ashamed of the man you thought I was with. You were worried about appearances, about having the wrong blood in the family," my father scoffed. "We've moved past that, Clara." "No," I cut him off, my voice turning to steel. "We haven't. You see, you were right to be ashamed. I did make a mistake. I slept with the wrong man." I looked directly at Isabel, whose perfect smile was beginning to crack. Her husband, Mark, shifted uncomfortably in his seat beside her. "Open it," I commanded. With trembling hands, my mother reached for the envelope. She pulled out the contents. The first was a photo of my son Liam, smiling his bright, happy smile. The second was a photo of Mark, taken at his wedding. The resemblance was undeniable. The same warm brown eyes, the same distinct curve of the mouth. Beneath the photos was a single notarized document, a DNA paternity test result. Probability of paternity, 99.9999%. A strangled gasp escaped my mother's lips. My father stared, his face turning a shade of purple I had never seen before. But I only watched Isabel. I watched as her perfect world, built on lies and a sense of superiority, crumbled to dust. Her head turned slowly, mechanically, to face her husband. Mark was ashen, stammering, unable to form a single word. "You threw me out to protect her perfect image," I said, my voice resonating in the dead silence. "You let me raise your grandson alone in poverty because you couldn't bear the truth. The shame you were so desperate to hide wasn't mine. It was sitting at your dinner table all along." I stood up, my chair scraping against the polished floor. I looked down at the wreckage of their perfect family. "You want a loan? Ask your son-in-law." Without another glance, I walked out of the restaurant and into the cool night air, leaving them to drown in the truth I had just served. For the first time in 7 years, I felt light. I was finally free.